Thank you for convening today's hearing on oversight of the United States Marshals Service. Welcome back, Director Davis, and thank you for being here today. The United States Marshals Service is the oldest federal law enforcement agency in the world. It has broad and varied responsibilities, and it plays a vital role in enforcing the law and keeping us safe and secure. As the enforcement arm of the federal courts, its duties include protecting the federal judiciary, apprehending federal fugitives, managing and selling seized assets, housing and transporting federal prisoners, and operating the witness security program. To ensure the success and efficiency of the agency, it is essential that we fulfill our oversight responsibility by carefully examining the operations, performance, and challenges faced by the Marshals Service. More importantly, we must be certain that we are doing all that we can to support the agency's multifaceted mission, which ultimately keeps Americans safe at home and abroad. I hope that we will take advantage of the opportunity to avoid party politics, and that we can delve into critical areas that should be of bipartisan concern. I'm particularly interested in learning more about the management of the Marshals' budget and resources, the implementation of policies and procedures that promote safety and the preservation of life, the responsible use of new technologies, and the protection of civil rights and civil liberties. The agency has an annual operating budget of more than $3.8 billion, with more than 550 offices throughout the country. Nearly half of its funding is expended to provide housing, subsistence, medical care, and transportation of federal detainees that are housed largely in local, state, and private facilities. That presents unique challenges because the agency is charged with protecting detainees in facilities that they do not control. Despite having relied on the use of private detention facilities for many years, the Marshals are currently tasked with implementing President Biden's executive order to phase out the federal government's use of private facilities. This was an important step because the contracts with these private facilities provided for minimal oversight, leaving Congress, detainees' loved ones, and the public clamoring for information about the safety and well-being of federal detainees. While I recognize that a deliberate process is necessary to carry out the President's executive order, including the consideration of logistical and due process concerns, I understand that the agency has continued to contract with some private facilities, often with the support of federal defenders and district court judges in affected districts. In some cases, the White House counsel's office has granted specific exemptions, but some of these contracts have been entered into by exploiting certain legal loopholes. I am interested to hear how the agency is working towards full compliance with the executive order. I also hope that we can examine more fully whether the Marshals maintain sufficient oversight of the facilities that it contracts with to house federal detainees. This is true for private detention facilities as well as state, local, and federal detention facilities. We must also closely examine the Marshals' coordination with other law enforcement entities and its response to evolving threats and risks, particularly since threats and inappropriate communications against federal judges and other court personnel continue to rise. There is an urgent need to understand the extent of the problem and to develop a strategy to address it, as evidenced by the tragic attack on U.S. District Judge Esther Salas that left her son dead and her husband seriously injured. The Marshals Service has many accomplishments to be proud of, including the arrest of more than 73,000 fugitives while clearing over 86,000 state, local, and federal arrest warrants last year. I also applaud the agency's earnest commitment to promoting transparency and enhancing public trust by equipping its officers with body-worn cameras. I'm hopeful that today's hearing will be a constructive dialogue across party lines that will enable us to address any deficiencies or inefficiencies that might hinder the agency's ability to fulfill its critical mission. With these goals in mind, I look forward to hearing from our witness, and I yield back the balance of my